Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to another TGIF Talks, episode 108. To all the 0 people watching this, because no one's watched the last one. I'm joined by my co-host, Anonymous Phil.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll the intro. We're doing weekly now. Yay. I wonder why that's blurry. That's weird. And that's it. We're weekly podcasts now, so that's cool. So what? How are you? It's only been a few days for us, but for them, it's been a week. How are you?
Doing just fine.
Have you done anything interesting?
Went to the zoo for the first time in 15 years?
Apparently, yeah. 16, right? Because you said 2006. Oh, yo.
I don't even know. Second grade is the last time I remember. Although I think I went in... I vaguely remember going in 5th grade or something.
Yeah. The zoo was fun. We went to the Henry Miller Zoo. That vlog will be up Friday. It will... It was interesting. Very, very interesting, truth be told. It was so I don't know what they do with the rhinos and some of the other stuff. I don't know what they do with them in the winter.
Well, I'm just kind of curious where they moved them to. I'm assuming they're still in the park, right?
I mean, the lions and the giraffes were, but where were the rhinos?
All the monkeys and stuff, did they get moved off-site?
I don't know. It sucked because they were working on part of the gorilla enclosure, and then they were working on the floor of the jungle. Although, I wonder if the floor of the jungle is just not closed in the winter, because they had the peacocks running around down at the bottom, and they had food out and stuff I saw, or a cage or something. I'm not sure what was going on. So I'm maybe they're not working on them, and they just have the peacocks running around? I'm not sure.
I thought it was just construction or something, but I have no idea.
I don't know. It was good. I was a little bummed out by the jungle not working, but otherwise the Desert Dome and the Kingdom of the Night were fully operational.
Yeah, and what was it? The Kling Springer or whatever?
The what?
The Kling Springer? A thing that we thought was just a statue.
Oh my god.
Vibing.
You thought there was this little antelope looking thing. It was looked like a dick but bigger. And it just it's just vibing. It was just standing there.
It was just vibing.
Just dead still. And Phil's it's fake. It's not moving. And I'm no, it's moving. And I'm I'm pretty sure I just watched it blink. And he's no way. And then his head moves ever so slightly. And Phil just freaks out what? It didn't blink. I don't understand. How did it?
No, I don't get how animals can do that. Just stand in one spot, perfectly still, and not blink. Do they not get dust in their eye or something, or what?
I don't know. Is every animal like a camel and they have 2 sets of eyelids, or what?
I have no idea.
I couldn't.
Actually, I think dogs do, because I know that if you watch a dog, when they wake up, from after sleeping, how their eyes look all weird or whatever. They have another eyelid. Dogs have another eyelid that go underneath their 2 eyes, the 2 traditional eyelids. They have 3 eyelids.
Ew.
Have you ever noticed that with your dog?
No, I don't look at my dog that close. I'm not like you and Kyle who lay with the dog and are just like this. Are you okay, Apollo?
You okay? Are you dead?
Are you dead?
Are you dead?
And then Kyle sticks his hand in the dog's mouth.
Fight me if you're dead.
Yeah, he's just straight up, bite me, damn it! Bite me! And your mom's like,
Bite me, damn
stop it! And then the dog gets pissed and starts barking at him.
it. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
usually how that goes.
Your dog. Well, so your dad's super stern with him, and then your mom's not. So the dog's just super confused as to who and to when to listen
Oh, yeah.
to.
Oh, yeah. He has no idea. Which is part of the reason why he's so dumb.
Part of the reason.
The
I
other
think
reason
most
is
golden
just
retrievers are just.
genetics.
I think most
The
golden
other, the
retrievers.
other part is just pure genetics.
Yeah, I think most golden retrievers are a few treats short of a whole uh, bowl of kibble. So
Yeah. There's some people that, they're missing a few tools out of their toolbox. Yeah, he's missing the whole damn toolbox.
Oh man, yeah, that's a real issue, real issue. But back to the zoo. No, the zoo was good. Well, I guess the Arctic thing was all closed, but you know, they got rid of the polar bears at some point. I was I was a little disappointed by that, but apparently, like the polar bears there are like super like they were not taken care of very well. So
Oh, really?
yeah, and they got rid of all their bears. I want bears. The whole point they had like the only bears they had were in Asia, and they didn't have any panda bears. So I'm like, I want more bears.
Yeah.
So bring back the bears, damn it. Bears are fun. So, yeah, no, it was crazy because it was like the first time I'd been to the zoo with a phone that didn't want to die the entire time. So, uh, I had it out, and I guess it also wasn't free. It was cold, but it wasn't so cold to the point where I wanted to have my gloves on the entire time. But like last time I was in senior year. How's it the last two times I've been to the zoo? It's been freezing cold.
Mm.
The time before this previous one, it snowed. Oh, man. Speaking of snow, it snowed today and yesterday. None of it's stuck so far, thank God, but I'm getting real concerned that we're going to get a lot of snow. It's already snowed more than like all of 2021. So,
What?
like number of times, not quantity.
Wait.
End of 2000.
2021, we had 13 inches in 2 days.
Sorry, end of 2021.
What?
End of 2021.
What about end of 2021?
That's what I'm referencing. Because I don't think it snowed at all last November and December.
Oh, yeah. No, I just remember that January 2021. Remember, we had no school. We had like 2 no school days that spring or something.
Yeah, that was a rough. That wasn't the roughest spring, but those were 2 rough springs in a row there. That was not fun.
We had like 2 no school days, and I remember one of them. It was like we had a snowstorm at like 5 o'clock is when it started. And so people who, you get to work just fine, but coming home, no. There were cars outside my apartment that were just straight up stuck,
Oh, I
Like they were
remember.
just parked.
I remember.
Yeah, it was,
I was at Menards, and they're like, "Okay, time to drive home," and I'm like, what? Like, you have four-wheel drive, you'll be fine. I'm like,
yeah, apparently at my work, I mean, I wasn't there at the time, but, back then, 2 years ago, whatever, they told night crew not to even come in. Don't even bother.
Semi shows up with all the ice cream. Yo, where is everybody?
Well, I guess because night crew usually goes in at 11 a.m. They work till 9:30. It's more of an afternoon shift, but yeah.
Man, so This winter's already off to a start. Although this
Yeah.
snow, I would say, it's amounted to about kind of how much all of our rain's been the past several months. It happened, but the net result is no different than before. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like all the rain we've had. Like, there was one day, like, it rained overnight, but I got up the next morning and I'm like, it's dry. The ground is so dry that it just soaked it up. Plus, it was super windy and warm, and so it just dried everything off, and so you could barely tell it rained, other than like a few things here and there, and the smell of the rain in the air. Otherwise, you could not. No chance. No chance. So that's life right now. That's how has it only been 11 minutes? I find this hard to believe. But anyways, so nuclear war.
What?
Did you see this today?
I have no idea what you're talking about now.
Oh, of course you don't look at the news. Why? Period. Plus, while at work. So there's rumors, not rumors, but well, kind of rumors that 2 Russian missiles landed in Poland and killed 2 Polish people. Now, there's also rumors that the missiles were anti-air missiles fired by the Ukrainians that must have met their target in midair and the shrapnel fell over in Poland, but hard to, but that could have been, we don't know yet. It's not confirmed. The NATO Crisis Center is currently, because Poland is a NATO country, and according to the Pentagon, they're like, we will defend every inch of a NATO country. I'm like, every inch. Can't we just mourn the loss of these 2 people and move on? Are we really gonna start a nuclear war over 2 dead people in Poland? It was an accident. It wasn't like it was intentional. I mean, God bless these people's souls, but I don't think, hundreds of millions of people need to die. Possibly 1 billion people need to die. Maybe more. Because, it was an accident.
I want to go back down to 7 billion.
Yeah, that's what I was. I'm like, yeah, we just hit 8 billion today. Yeah, that's exciting.
Let's go back down to 7.
They're about to knock it back down to 7. I don't know why I'm laughing, because if we don't get the hell out of Dodge, we're going to be a part of that 7 billion. So, this may be the last 5 days of our lives. Good. Oh, no. Oh, God, my dream is coming true. Well, I guess nightmare. It was not a dream.
Nightmare?
I want to be a ballerina. No, dream as in, I had a dream where I got nuked. And now it's going to happen.
Your worst nightmare is better than my best dream.
What happens in your dreams? Well, apparently, as we discussed, you had to pee.
Well, you already said what your nightmare is. That should tell you what my dreams are.
Yeah, you pee yourself, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I had to put that one in there. I'm sorry. No, so... Are you ready, kids? No. Oh, man. The fact that nuclear war, World War III, has all been trending in the past... has it trended 2 or 3 times this year. It's interesting. World War III has been increasing in frequency with its trending. One of these times, or this could be the last time, that we see it trend. Because the world will end for us anyways. So, I gotta figure out a way to get to... My original plan was Canada, but I don't think that's far enough to avoid the fall. Especially, that's kind of where the missiles from Russia and the U.S. are gonna meet. All the
Why Canada?
because Canada's not a target.
Mm.
But the issue is all the missiles kind of meet over the North Pole in Canada. So
Oh, like Alaska?
maybe Alaska might be in the way. I'd have to look at a globe, but the missiles kind of just they go over the poles and they're gonna meet each other in the. So somebody's car alarm's going off. Fantastic. So yeah, it's maybe the last podcast, guys. You may never hear from us again, or the next time you hear from me, I could be in a bunker in New Zealand, being like, "Well, the world's ending. This is great." So, yeah.
I doubt it, but okay.
You doubt it? I think we'll be dead. There's a good chance.
I doubt it.
You doubt what?
Oh, that it's gonna happen in a week. In a week.
In a week. Well, I mean,
Maybe.
here's the thing, right? If you know if the Security Council is like, well, this is an act of war, time to go to war, the nukes will be launched within the hour. Russia will just be like, well, that's it. Big red button. Society as we know it is over. Gone. Done. China wins. Europe is a nuclear wasteland. The United States is mostly nuclear wasteland. And Russia is also, well, I mean, most of Russia, I mean, the Russian population will be exterminated, but most of Russia will be untouched because no one lives there. So, end of the world. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of the world once again. How many times have we done this in this podcast? There was COVID. There was the last time World War III happened. The time before that, when Ukraine got invaded, we all thought it was going to be the end of the world. That time, though, I wasn't as concerned. But this time, it's like, this is a NATO country. If we figure out that these were actual Russian missiles, and these weren't like Ukrainian things, that wasn't just Russian propaganda I saw on Twitter, Article 5 may be invoked, and U.S. troops will be rolling up to help the Ukrainians, and, well, there will be nuclear weapons flying. Just,
Nah. Nah.
no?
No.
Well, if you survive long enough
Unfortunately.
to see that, if you survive, unfortunately, if you survive long enough to see the nukes fall, you'll be like, damn it, Doc was right. And then you'll be incinerated.
I didn't get it done.
Huh?
Where was my turn?
What do you mean, what's your turn?
You said you died, I didn't. How come I didn't get my turn?
What's your turn? No. If you survive long enough to hear the news of the nukes drop, you're going to be like, well, damn it, Doc was right. And then you'll be incinerated. An hour later.
Good. I can go out in flames.
Actually, you know what? You freaking don't even... You won't even know. You'll just be vibing, working on a battery, and then the next thing you know, you're dead.
Did I know when I'm dead? Do you know when you're dead?
I don't know.
There's the question.
I don't know. I don't want to know. According
There's
to my
a
dream,
philosophical
yeah.
question. Do you know when you're dead?
I don't want to know when I'm dead.
I want to know if I know when I'm dead.
It's not a fun subject. I mean, my
Think about
dream,
it.
according to my dream, you just white black.
I don't think you do. I don't think you know when you're dead.
Depends on how you die.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on if you think of there being an afterlife. Because if there is no afterlife, then you have no conscience and you're dead, right? You can't interpret death.
There is no interpretation. The brain cells are,
You're done.
done.
So if you don't believe in an afterlife, you're just done. Gonzo. Ceased to exist without a thought.
Can you imagine if it's like the cognitive continuum like I proposed? And so you're reborn as a baby somewhere, and as your final thoughts start to fade because your brain isn't big enough to comprehend all of it, you just look over at a TV and there's just the US and Russia, just a nuclear wasteland, and you're just like, whoa. You're going to start your new life as a Chinese baby.
Hmm. Maybe life will be better.
Huh?
Maybe life would be better.
You could get lucky, be a New Zealand baby.
Nah, lucky for me would be a malaria-infected mosquito.
You open your eyes and you're like, wow, I'm in Africa. Mosquito bites you. Doctor's like, oh, your baby's dead. Sorry.
No, but I am the malaria-infected mosquito. I come back as a mosquito.
This isn't Hinduism, all right? I don't think that's on the chart.
What do you mean? You're saying I can only come back as a human?
As in the cognitive continuum, that is what I've proposed, yes. In Hinduism, you can come back as a variety of things.
And you don't believe that?
No, I don't know what I believe. I don't.
You said you believe in the cognitive continuum.
But that's not Hinduism. Cognitive continuum doesn't mean you are reborn as a human.
No, I'm asking, is that what you believe?
No, I don't know what I believe.
Oh, what?
It's just what I hope for.
I see.
It's the best way to cope. Because you die without dying. Like your previous you dies, but like you're not, but you're conscious but not conscious of where. Kind of like the ship of Theseus. Your memories get replaced with your new memories of, being a Chinese baby. And at some point, you forget where you came from, and now it's all Chinese baby.
Sure.
So, that's life for you. That's the cognitive continuum. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I don't feel fine. I really don't. I don't feel well about this. This is not good. But anyways, yeah, what is death like?
What is it like?
What is death like?
Well, I don't know if you can interpret it, though.
Did I ever tell you about how to prove the existence of God, if God's in our DNA?
Possibly. I seem to recall something along these lines.
I mean, a perfect experiment requires a time machine, but of course, then you just prove the existence of God because you have a time machine. But it's possible if we could figure out a way to stop people's brains, like just stop them, but you're still able to bring them back. So they're dead, right? For all intents and purposes, they are dead. Their brain is dead. But their body and the brain and the cells, they continue to go on their daily lives, but the brain's dead. But then we're able to bring it back.
Wait, hold up. So the brain's dead. How does the body function?
Well, no, like we keep you alive with machines and stuff.
Oh, so you have an artificial heart and lungs and all that?
Yeah, we're keeping you alive with machines, but the brain's dead, basically. But we can bring the brain.
So you're in you're in an induced coma.
Kind of, but like in a coma, your brain is but in a coma you're not dead.
Well, I mean your consciousness is shut down.
Right, but your brain is still in control.
Well, yeah, it has to keep your heart beating and all that.
In my situation, the brain is dead. Like it's just turned off, like a switch. All neural activity, all the neurons just stop. All communication with the nerves just stop. We keep your body, alive or whatever. And then we bring you back. But that's not good enough. Because people could still, as like we're shutting down their brain or whatever, because like I saw a light or whatever. Or I saw God, or I saw Allah, whatever. Well, that's because, these people existed before. So this is where we get to the unethical part of this. We get a variety of newborn babies. And actually, we'd actually need just to grow embryos in artificial wombs. But okay, we'll do that. We get a bunch of different embryos from women of all different types of nationalities, ethnicities, religions, and so on and so forth. Like thousands of these babies, right? We grow them up in artificial wombs, all right? Very possible technology, probably going to happen in the next 20 years, maybe sooner.
Wait, the brain's still functional at this time or no?
No, you're up. No, we're getting up to that part. We're growing babies in artificial wombs. All right.
Is the brain still working?
Yes, because they're real people that we're giving birth to.
I didn't know if you had shut off the brain already.
No. This is we're building up to that point, and this is a part of the testing, whether it's in their DNA and not via circumstance, not during whatever. Anyways, point is, because we can't just have people give birth to babies and then take the baby, because we don't know, because it's possible the baby could hear things going on outside the womb, so if the baby if they're praying to Jesus or whatever, and it could have these memories, like deep-seated memories of this. So we need to grow these babies up in a sterile environment, in an artificial womb, free of input that would cause
or just some woman living on 1,000 women living on an island.
No, this is not that econ problem. Anyways,
we send 1,000 women to an island, 1,000 pregnant women to an island to give birth.
It won't work because the women can still talk. So
they can talk and mingle amongst each other, just not.
We don't want that. We want just these babies to be born via artificial wombs. There's no possible way for any taintiness. They're perfect. All right, they're just born.
Fine. 1,000 deaf women.
Pregnant women. Anyways, we get thousands. No, because they have to be from different nationalities and different types of people. Can't just all just be deaf.
Fine, 1,000 deaf women from all over the world.
It doesn't work. Anyways, no, because that doesn't. No, because that's a genetic. That's.
You said different nationalities.
Yes, but that's a variable that you're gonna have to include in your research paper at the end. Yes, but these people are all deaf or mute or whatever.
You just said you wanted different nationalities.
Yes, I just want the embryos because the embryos can be grown in artificial wombs.
So you do or do not want different nationalities?
I want different nationalities of embryos. I don't want adults. I want embryos.
Not sure I follow, because embryos come from adults.
Yes, but I don't want the adult. I just want the embryo. Or I'll just take the eggs and get some sperm donors and do it that way.
Well, I was just saying, after these women give birth, and you have 1,000 babies,
I don't want them to give birth. That is the issue. I don't want.
Oh wait, you don't want babies. You want the embryo. You don't want the baby.
No, I do not want any adults in this situation. The babies are going to be grown in test tubes, they're going to be grown in artificial wombs, and they're going to be born out of these artificial wombs. There will be no other human interaction besides the people taking care of them. There will be their actual mothers will be, they don't even know all the mother, we need to eliminate all external stimulus as much as possible.
Okay.
Anyways, so these babies are born out of these artificial wombs. I don't know, either we get embryos or we just get sperm and eggs and we mix them and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, these babies are born and they're going to grow up in an environment completely devoid of all religious anything. There's no talk of what created humanity. There's no talk of any of this. We might not even teach the Big Bang Theory or really even teach evolution. We're just going to basically teach them how to do basic math, algebra, and we're going to teach them how to read, write, whatever. Basic things. They have no knowledge of the outside world.
Do they learn science and physics?
Well, yes, but we're not going to teach them about the Big Bang Theory, possibly.
They're not going to know about the Big Bang Theory.
Possibly. Now, here's the
Okay.
thing. The experiment only can work if they have no prior acknowledgments of wondering where they came from. So the minute somebody starts to wonder where they came from, that group any people that person's come into contact, any of the other people in the experiment, like, so we'll have groups of like 6 babies or whatever. And if one of them starts to wonder, like, oh, I wonder if birth is like, I wonder if humans came from this, or if this is what death is like.
Well, yeah, so you're going to teach them evolution.
I don't know. I don't know. That's the issue, right? Because if you just tell them it's evolution, it's there's no
They're going to wonder
human
where the
wonder.
first species came from.
Huh?
They're going to wonder where the first organism came from.
See, that's the difficult part, right? 'Cause you want to, but at the same time, it's like that could skew the results.
Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me how to know if God is in DNA. Tell me how to interpret the results.
So what happens? So if anybody starts to wonder where we came from and starts to believe in a higher power, those people that are associated with them, they're out of the. We can't kill them, or kill them.
Okay. Continue.
So we get to like the age 25, preferably probably age 35, but let's say we get to age 20. Let's just get to age 25. The brain's done developing. We kill them.
Okay.
We do this brain stopping thing, and then we bring them back. They're dead for a random amount of time. Okay?
Wait, what?
We randomize how long they die.
Wait, you're stopping their brain, right? But
Right.
keeping their body going. Okay.
So they're dead for
Stop their brain.
They're dead for a random amount of time.
Okay.
Each one's a random amount of time.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll just do subjects of varying times. Anyways,
whatever. Continue.
We bring them back.
Yes.
And then we ask them, what did you see?
They're going to remember their old life.
Well, no, we're going to ask them, what was the last thing you remember?
It would be
if the last thing they remember is just being put under, then God is not in our DNA. But if they start talking about...
That is exactly what I think they'd see.
Huh?
That's what I think they'd see.
Right.
Because the thing is that in the brain, I think of it like a computer, right? You're going to have this... I don't know if I want to say you have like RAM in a sense that all your short-term memories are gone. You're going to lose those. And the longer the brain is turned off, you're going to start to lose some more long-term memories.
Well,
and maybe when you come back, you'll have motor difficulties and stuff. You'll have difficulties to remember your past life.
But see, that's not what we're... But that's not how
my point is
though,
I don't think when they come back they're gonna recall anything. No light or whatever. No, nothing.
That's nonsense. That I think you're missing how we're gonna kill them. Basically, we need, because the only way to really probably kill them is we need to be and bring them back is to be able to basically kind of like how you'd flash a microchip, right? You know,
magnet?
Huh?
A magnet?
No, yeah, but like a microchip, you flat, because like a microchip doesn't work unless you flash it with some sort of firmware or whatever. Okay, and so the brain, then the way we'll shut it off. Like all these neural connections are basically gone. They're no longer good. Whatever. I don't know how it works because it's all theoretical. I don't know if this is even possible. But if it is possible, we basically have to reflash all the memories that they had before back into them. You know, they'll save them on a computer somewhere. I don't know. We reflash in them and wake them up and ask them what happened. If they see a light, that means it's ingrained in our DNA, or God exists.
I don't think you'll ever get to that point because you said previously that if they ever question, their origins and existence, they're done. Yeah, no, I think every single one of them will question at some point in their life, the origin, you know. They'll make up stories about their beginning because that's just what people do. They make up stories and they think about their beginnings. People want to, let their mind wander and think about
See,
chronological events.
see,
I don't think you'll ever get to the point. I think you'll have to end up killing all of them.
I We'll not
I
kill
don't think there'll
them.
be
We'll just
one
turn them
child
back into
that
real society. We'll just flash their brains and turn. We'll just wipe their memories and turn them into wipe their memories, fill them with false memory.
My point is, I would actually be surprised if you even get one human
Well, see, that's the
that
thing. We don't
does not
know.
question.
Well, see, that's also the other
Well, we
issue.
don't know, obviously, but I'm saying if we did do the system, I would be surprised if we had even one human that did not
I
even question once. Like, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, how do you not even
but
once
see,
ponder this idea? How does
that's
this idea never once come into your never
that's a
once pop into your brain?
that's a biased thought.
I know, but I'm just saying it's crazy to me to think that you would never once ponder your beginning.
I don't see.
Not
It's
even
hard. It's hard for us to imagine it. But I knew a lot of dumb people in my day.
yeah, but none of them like thought about where they came from or like how everything started.
I've learned
Not
there are
even
people.
once. Not even one time.
I've learned there are people. They just go out through their entire day. They don't even think. They're just NPCs. I was talking to a guy at work, and he's just like, "What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "Thinking." He's like, "You never just." I'm like, "I'm always thinking. I'm never not doing anything." He's like, "What?" He's like, There's just nothing going on in the brain." I'm like, "What? How does that work?"
Nothing going on up here.
Like,
Not at all.
I think I've ran into this several times where people are like, "You're like, I'm always thinking. My brain is always going. It's always running. I'm always thinking about something." And there are straight up just people that just nope.
Nope.
There's
much
no
work.
thoughts. Nothing going on up here.
No thoughts.
They're just
Nothing
they're
going
just
on.
an NPC.
They're just existent. They're vibing.
They're like
They're just
that.
vibing.
What
They're
the heck
just
was the name of
vibing.
that creature?
Klingspringer?
Kinks.
Klingspringer? Type it into Google. It's something like that. Klingspringer?
I don't even know how to spell that.
Aling Springer.
A-L.
No. Kling.
I don't.
Kling. Have you spelled that?
Kling, Springer, Klein. It just brings up lawyers.
No. You're not typing it. Type animal afterwards.
That's what I'm working
Type
on.
Klingspringer animal. It'll pull it up because I got to do it earlier.
No. Kling.
Yeah.
That doesn't bring up anything.
S-P. No. They need to type Springer. S-P-R.
Yeah, I did. It didn't bring up it. Oh, wait a minute. Why does it bring up San Diego Zoo?
No, it's Clip Springer. Klip.
Yeah, I found it.
How did you not find it the first time?
Because you told me Kling, Springer, animal. That doesn't bring up anything. It literally brings up 30 photos.
For me, I typed it into Google and it said, "Do you mean Clip Springer?"
Yeah, it didn't do that.
I typed Kling Springer animal. I typed the word animal after that, and it said, "Do you mean Clip Springer?"
Yeah, no, it didn't give me that option. No.
Oh, well, sorry, your Google is dumb.
No, my Google is just like, actually, wow, Clip Springer.
I was almost dead on with the spelling. I almost had it.
This must be a rare animal because, again, there's like 30 photos total.
I thought I spelled it pretty good. Clip Springer. There's no P, it's clean. Wait. Clip Springer.
Okay.
I was almost spelled it right.
This is, alright, to the folks
Sort
at
of.
home. This is the animal we're referring to. It's a cute little thing, but it just it was vibing. No, so these people so most of society is this clip springer, right?
They're just vibing.
there. They're NPCs. They just vibe. So which is my theory that I think we'll actually get people.
Vibing is just a neutral state?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Vibe is just a vibe.
What?
There's no real.
You can't use it in its definition.
I don't know. Anyways, so most people are just NPCs, right? I really genuinely think most people are just NPCs, just like the clip springer, right? They're just.
Oh, I like how Urban Dictionary said it's a natural phenomenon that can occur when a person is in a state of mental calmness.
There you go. That's why I really think there are some people that they just don't think about that. I think I've asked people that I'm like, have you ever thought about where you came from? And they're like, no.
No. A perfect state of chilling.
Like they're surrounded by religious imagery and science, and they don't even think about it. It doesn't cross their mind to even think about it.
Just feel like just lay back on your bed and just stare up at the ceiling and just don't think. That's what they do.
They're NPCs, I'm telling you.
Is it like meditating, right?
Yeah, that would be meditating.
Vibing is meditating.
Vibing
is the 21st century way of saying it. Is the millennial way of saying it, meditating, right?
Probably. But, like, you would use it in a different sense. People don't just, like meditating is more serious. This is just existing.
Oh, so you're just existing.
Yeah.
So you're just vibing.
So, anyways, that's the deal. These oh my god, this is a baby clip springer. It's the cutest freaking thing on the face of the planet.
You should get a pet one.
What?
I think they'd be the best pets ever. They'll just stand there.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna these. You get this thing as a pet. He just stands there all day. Just doesn't move. Just stands there in the middle of the living room. People are like, I like that statue you got. It's like, no, it's an animal, not my pet. Go pet it. He walked up there, and bumped his head down there, and he started freaking out because it moved. So he's a little shy.
He's a little shy.
But he just stands there. They have that big old party going on, and he's just standing there.
I'm upset.
People think he's like half dead.
Why would people even hunt a clip springer? They're like 30 pounds. There's no meat on them. Why would you hunt such a cute animal? There's nothing wrong with this animal.
To some animals.
Huh?
So to some animals, they might be nice and juicy. Easy kill. Easy appetizer.
This clip springer's got no meat to it.
A quick appetizer.
Wouldn't even look good on your wall. Well, anyways.
Don't give people any ideas.
So, like I said, I think you'd get several people that would just never thought. Like, you keep them preoccupied with things to do. Don't keep them alone to them thoughts. Yeah. No, that's the thing, though. There are some personality types that will, like, our personality types that will think about these things at one point. Like, my entire, like, all of the TJs, I think is what. I think that's I think.
TJs?
Yeah, the thinkers and judgers. That entire section of the
yeah, you are a very judgmental person.
Yeah, whatever. That's not what that means. But anyways, the entire thing. Oh, sorry. It's the NTs. Sorry, intuitive and thinkers. Right. those 4 personality types, I guarantee you would have to be thrown out of the experiment, because I guarantee you these are the kinds of people that just sit there and think.
There are personality types where they just exist.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That just seems like unhuman.
Most of the explorers, I feel like, are I shouldn't say an entrepreneur.
Oh, explorers seem to ponder and wonder what's on the other side, you know?
I
Whether and you
guarantee
know
you, the
whether that be time,
virtuoso
whether
and
that
the
be space
entertainer
or time.
I guarantee you though, the virtuoso and the entertainer just vibe. They just exist.
Hmm.
Uh, the the console, I guarantee you, also just exists. I guarantee you, a lot of these just exist. A lot of especially the feeling types and the feeling and sensing types, they just
Feelings.
exist.
Do you have feelings?
I'm an ENTJ. No,
You don't have feelings.
no. I was thinking about it today at work, and I was like, I realized I don't have morals. Especially after talking to you about porn, I was like, I realized I don't have morals anymore, or
No,
very few.
you're the most immoral person I know.
Am I really?
I don't know. I
Oh.
just said that. Could be.
There's a very good chance.
You have a chance. That spot is open.
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah, no, I realize I don't have a lot of morals, and I'm like, huh. Wonder why that is.
You know, I wonder why.
I really do wonder.
I don't.
Yuto?
I just kind of accept it.
Oh, God. Hiccups. Anyways. Yeah, people just, like I said, I think you'd actually get some people who, they just exist.
I will never understand those people.
That's because
makes
our
no sense.
personality types completely block that out.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like to talk to someone like that. You probably can't really have any sort of in-depth conversation about philosophy or anything.
Probably not.
Every conversation you have would have to be something that they were present for, something that they existed in. They cannot ponder, or they prefer not to think about anything that does not focus on reality in which they were present in. They're the most
I don't think every human.
self-centered, egocentric people you will ever meet.
I think every human has the ability to ponder. I mean, they do.
Well,
But
yes. But it's whether or not they prefer to.
yeah, and the people
Some
that I'm
people are
talking
just
about, they have no interest in that. It doesn't. What exists outside of what's happening with them right now, and like the people around them, they have no. They don't really. It's like the people that are just like they don't. They don't go vote. They don't look. They don't watch the news. They go home. They watch Netflix, and that's their day.
Oh, yeah, but like any thought that any conversation that you have with them would revolve around an existence in which they were present for. You know, they would seem to me to be very or have some sense of narcissism.
There are a lot of people I
You
know
think?
that all they would talk like they would literally only talk about like cars and trucks, or talk about sports, or talk about the or talk about the Netflix show they just watched, or The Bachelor, Bachelorette. They don't outside of their interests. That's it. They don't bother to question other things. They you try and talk to them about philosophy, they're like, oh, that's an interesting thought, and then kind of just keep going. It wouldn't phase them. Like, oh
Now,
wow, I
I
never
guess I
even.
do have a question. Is the personal beliefs in the consciousness, is it a learned behavior? Or, like, if you had a set of identical twins, how do I want to phrase this? Do you have to train a brain to like or dislike a subject? I guess. Like, if you're around,
No,
science and math all the time, do you become naturally acquainted with enjoying those subjects?
you can, but also the answer is no because myself is an example of that.
Okay, and how so?
I So yes, I was shown like Magic School Bus, Bill Nye, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was shown it once, and that's all it took.
Yeah.
I wasn't
No, I
nurtured
get.
though. No one ever said. No one was like, "Hey, let's keep you around these things." I wasn't forced into it. I saw it once, and I wanted to be around it all the time.
No, I guess what I'm saying that let's say you never were shown that, right? Never, never once.
Well, I
Is
see. I
it-
got into space
But
before
let's say
Magic
you were
School
never
Bus,
once
though.
shown that, and you were around friends that did not like science, right?
So everyone else
And
in my
those
life.
friends influence what?
So literally every other person in my life.
I'm asking whether or not people can influence how you. I think so. Obviously, people can
Yes,
influence how you
I
think
answered
and
the
in your
question.
perspective. I guess my perspective is, can they influence you enough such that you will never enjoy it? I don't
Never.
think
No.
so.
Any person could possibly
I
enjoy
guess.
something.
Do you? How do? Or I guess.
If
Do
you're
you think people
asking
have?
whether
Do you think
somebody can
people
be
have?
in,
What? No, no, no. Do you think people have uh, natural beliefs that they enjoy thinking? Oh, how do I want to phrase this?
do you think people's brains are born in ways that allow them to enjoy certain subjects over other
No,
ones?
no, that's not what I'm. No,
Kind of what it sounds like.
that's not. But that's not what I want it to sound like. Um, do you think people's brains are wired in such a way that they prefer to think about one particular topic? Now, whether or not they will find this specific topic early in life or later in life is beside the point. But do you think that there is one, or I guess a small spectrum of subjects that you are naturally inclined because of the chemical makeup of your brain that you will naturally be inclined to enjoy over other things?
Yes.
Yes.
So personalities they develop over your entire
So
life, but there's a
yeah, so your
set.
personality is yes, but do you have a natural belief that if taught at any age, you will always enjoy this thing? You will never want to not think about this specific thing. Like you'll have this sort of like category, like say science for us, right? You always want to think about
Yes,
your
let me
yes.
finish and just
You
tell
you
you
think
what I'm.
people naturally have this? They
Yes,
don't find it.
yes. That's Listen. Personalities develop over time. However,
Hmm.
babies aren't just lumps of clay. They're lumps of clay with hard bits in them. There are parts that are just gonna kind of be that way unless you freaking pound the shit out of it and try and change it. Otherwise, babies are not perfect lumps of clay. They do have predisposition because all of our brains are different. And, it just so
They're also quite malleable.
yes, they're
There's
that's
a
what I'm
sense
saying.
of
Yes, they are malleable,
plasticity.
but they're not perfectly malleable. I mean, they are there
But
without coaxing. It may be easy for different babies to pick out different things because everybody's different. Everybody has different interests. It may
Yes.
seem that most babies, you throw a shiny object at them, they're distracted. But some babies
Yes.
aren't interested in the shiny object. Why they're not interested, I don't know. Maybe they have autism. Because babies that have autism, they can't. They actually, something they noticed. If your baby has a hard time keeping eye contact, this is a baby for me. They have no idea what eye contact means. But if they don't ever seem interested in what's going on, they're kind of just always staring off into space. It's an indicator that they may have autism. And so
Mm-hmm.
these brains are just pre-programmed, pre-wired to be like this. Like, for example, I have ADD. I was more than likely born with this. I didn't develop it. I was just born with it. So my neurons were born to misfire.
Mm-hmm.
My genes say these neurons are going to misfire. So my brain is already wired differently than most of the population. And so
Mm-hmm.
I have a predisposition to whatever could come up of this. So yes, I absolutely believe people have a predisposition to like certain things. A case in point, myself. There was no reason, because I wasn't coaxed into doing one thing or the other. I think I watched Star Wars with my brother, and then I was like, wow, that's really cool. Space is cool. And then I watched Magic School Bus. They just showed the class. It was something to keep the kids busy. And I'm like, wow, space and all this stuff is really freaking cool. And then I myself, on my own free will, on my own fruition, was like, hey, I want space books. And then I just kept getting more and more interested. I myself, no one influenced me. I mean, yes, I was showing these things, but no one was like, you're going to like this. No, they're just like, I was just in the room. I was just
Mm-hmm.
there. You know? No one was like, you need to watch this. No, I was just there. And it just happened that I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I really enjoy this. And so, absolutely, my brain apparently was predisposed to really enjoy
Yeah.
space. So,
And so I guess on the flip side, I assume that it's safe to believe that there are certain things that you just see not your cup of tea, or things that are not worth your time to think and ponder about because of these other things that manifest in your thoughts more. And so I guess what I'm wondering though, so take philosophy, right? I think it's perfectly rational to think that there's people out there that just prefer not to let their mind wander in those directions.
yes, I know, like, most people in the world don't do that.
Yeah, and it's just, but
Literally, all
it
my
just
coworkers.
seems weird though that never once does the mind naturally wander. Like it seems like the mind will wander there, and then eventually it's like, all right, that's enough. Nope, nope.
I
I
think their
can't take it
minds
anymore. We're
wander,
stopping.
but it doesn't wander into those
Naturally.
directions.
Naturally, you don't think it naturally wanders there?
Not, it depends. So, see, that's the thing, right? The brain will
Well, I'm
always
wondering
wander.
if
See, so that's the thing,
it's
right?
never
The
once.
brain will naturally wander, period, right?
Yes. But never
But
once. Really.
the brain, when the brain wanders, that's complex thinking. That comes up much later in life. And by that point, some things are kind of baked in already.
Well, hold up. You're saying 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds, their minds don't wander?
I would say my brain started to wander when I was probably sixth grade.
Exactly, but it did wander though.
Right, in sixth grade. That's when your mind starts to
Oh.
think complexly. I think one of the first complex thoughts I ever thought was an interesting way to calculate birthdays. I
I
think
guess. Wait, what?
it was an interesting way to calculate birthdays because I was thinking about my brother and how old he was. And I realized, because again, I was turning about 10 at the time. And I realized that except for when I am 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, so on and so forth. My second digit will always be higher than my brother's second digit by 1 digit. Always. Excluding the 9 days between our birthdays. 9 days. That's wrong. It's excluding the few days between our birth. 5 days between
How
our
many
birth.
years apart are you? 11? Or
8 years, 360 days. Sorry. The 5 days between our birthdays, excluding that gap.
so you're 8 years apart.
Almost 9.
Almost 9.
Excluding that 5 day gap. So
So
so I realized I'm currently 22. That means my brother is 31.
yeah. And when you were 21, he was 30.
Yep. But when I was 20, he was 29. But when I was 20, he was 29.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, his last digit was larger than mine.
Yeah.
That is the
Oh, so this is the most complex thought you've ever had.
no, that was the first complex thought I ever had that I can remember
Oh.
and document, and that was in like 5th, 6th grade, somewhere in there. Because that is hard. For one thing, you have to think about another person and how their life relates to you. And then
No,
two,
I don't necessarily agree with that because see, here's the deal. When I was in kindergarten, I don't know why I remember this, but I do. Actually, no. I remember I was at daycare, and I don't remember if I was in kindergarten or not, but I stopped going to this daycare after it was either kindergarten or earlier because as soon as I went in first grade, I started going to daycare at the school, and this thought this thought has occurred more than once throughout my life, but because it will always reoccur. But one of the earlier times I remember this, I was at this daycare, and it was later in the day, like 5:30 or whatnot. But I specifically remember thinking, if I was thinking about when my dad would show up, right? It was like 5:30. It's like, man, it's getting kind of late, And then you see a car pull up, right? But the thing is, as a kid, you know what your father's cars looked like, right? And you're always looking for that car, right? Well, I used to always, wonder, let's say hypothetically, this car that pulled up was his car. Let's say this was another parent's car that pulled up, right? And I used to always think about, like, it still would not be him, So there could be some other kid with another parent driving this same exact car. And I
that's
always
not a
used to come to the
complex thought.
conclusion, what?
That's not a complex thought.
Hang on, I was 5 at the time, okay?
Right,
But
but I'm talking complex thoughts, specifically complex thoughts. That's
I
when
was
your mind
5.
wanders.
No, but I'm saying no. Yeah, this is me talking about my mind wandering now,
Okay,
right?
we're
So basically, I was just constantly thinking, about how if you have this car that pulls up, but it's not actually your parents' car, right? And I don't even know where I'm trying to go with this, but um,
I
it
think
was just one of these things where, like, my mind would just kind of wander upon thinking about this to where it just felt like it was something deeper behind it, like some deeper meaning behind it.
I don't think that was a complex thought. I think that was another because you said it was kindergarten, so
Or earlier.
there's a developmental point there in your brain in which you stop thinking about in terms of me and start thinking about in terms of other people. Other people exist. Other people have feelings. That happens in
Well, what about,
kindergarten.
like, thinking about, like, fine, what about this? Have you ever wondered You know, like looking at a block of items. You know, as kids, you like stacking up things, right? I always used to try, and I eventually did come up with. There is a formula. I don't know if it's. I eventually made a formula for this, but you know, like how as kids you always like stacking things up, right? I always used to wonder if I knew the total sum of objects I had, how many could I stack at the bottom to have a perfect pyramid? Have you ever done that? Like, let's say you're given a whole bunch
Oh
of
yeah,
dominoes, right?
I figured that out when I was a kid too.
What?
I did that too when I was a kid. That's just math.
Yeah, but you don't think that's a complex thought. I guess how do you define a complex thought?
Well, let's take it to Google. God damn it. Uh, oh my god. So yeah, you need to be so complex thought is the ability to interconnect different dimensions of reality. Basically, when you're so I remember when I was in middle school, they taught us about inference, context clues.
Um, well, yeah, you're reading books.
Right.
Is that complex thought?
That's complex thought. Because
Because
before your
they
brain
told you to do
physically
that in
cannot
elementary school.
understand what?
No, they told you that in elementary school. You read a book and they're like, "What do you think will happen next?"
I don't remember them ever asking that in elementary school.
They did that in freaking kindergarten. I had teachers that you'd read a book. They stop where they're reading and they say, "I want you to come up with ideas. What do you think will happen next?"
But hold
Like you
on,
get to
wait a
the
minute,
climax.
hold on, wait a minute. Yes, okay, it does come back,
Kindergarten,
but they
right?
never
First
bothered
grade.
to tell you whether you were right or wrong.
What?
That was a creativity exercise. That was not a
Yeah.
complex thinking exercise. They
Well,
wanted
then
to
how do
see,
you define complex thought?
huh?
Then how do you find complex thought in this sense?
This is. I'm thinking complexly as in logically. What will logically come next?
Yes, and they did that. So, like, did you
No,
ever have
I
teachers?
no.
Like,
Those were
they
those
knew
were
what have.
creative. They were just wanting to know. They were just wanting you to think. They were trying.
Yeah, but
They
did
were
they ever? But
training
they
you
never
to.
argued. But they never argued with you.
I don't. They never argued with us. They were kindergarten teachers. They just
You
asked
never
us.
had.
So why do you think
So
that's
you
going to
never had a
happen? They
teacher.
never told us.
Hang
They just.
on, hang on. Listen, you never. Because I remember this in elementary school. We'd read a book. She'd read a book aloud, right? And you know, as you get into the climax, she'd ask, "What do you think what's going to happen next?" And write down all these possibilities on the whiteboard. And then she'd ask us to think about them, right? Now, why do you? And you'd have to explain yourself. Explain why you think this up. You can't just be spitting stuff out. Explain it. Explain your reasoning and why. And the stuff that did not make sense, she'd cross it out. Cross it out. And then she'd circle, you know, the things that are most likely to happen, and then she'd continue reading. She never did that with you?
Not that I remember. Probably didn't give two craps about it because it was. I
So,
always thought
to
it was
me,
a
that fits the
creativity
definition,
exercise.
right? That fits the definition, right? Asking you to explain your reasoning, explain your thought. Yeah, sure, you could say whatever the hell you want. What was happening in the book, but why? Why do you think this will happen? What are some things that you have heard throughout the book that give justice to this response of how you think the author wants this book to end? You never once had a. I mean, to me, that fits the definition. Now, whether or not you had a teacher do this, to me, that fits the definition, right? And this would have been like third grade or whatever, elementary school.
That's probably, but that's not. I think those are probably coaxed though, right?
What?
Because that's. I think that's probably like coaxed complex thought though, right? It's not
I
like
don't know what
it's
you
not
mean.
like kids, but kids aren't going to go and just naturally do that.
Do what?
Think about what's going to happen next. That's not a.
Yeah,
That's
they
not a.
do. No, that's a skill that you're trying to build.
Right.
They're trying to build that skill.
Right. So complex thought happens later on. Okay, let me rephrase this. Free complex thought, as in uncoaxed by a teacher or a parent or whatever. You did it on your own. That happens in 6th grade. Now your brain is physically able to actually do it efficiently and effectively.
It's hard to say though, because well, one, it's so long ago, I don't remember. But two, a lot of those complex thoughts, like for example, one specific one I have is the so there was this teacher. There was we were learning about heritage school, right? And there was this picture of this teacher, writing, or like this picture of this woman writing, right? And the teacher asked, and there was a question on like a test or whatever, and the question was, why did this person not become a teacher or whatever, or why could she not become a teacher? And a lot of kids, put that she was old or whatever, because it was like an older lady, but women were allowed to teach back then in the 1800s. I don't know if anyone actually got this question right. I didn't get it right, but the answer was, it was a picture of her, mind you. The answer was because she was writing with her left hand. You had to be very, I don't know word,
yeah, that's definitely the definition.
Observant.
Yeah.
You had to be very observant and be willing to think outside the box and notice that she was writing with her left hand to be able to realize that, oh, she could not become a teacher at that time because they only wanted teachers that were writing with their right hand. So it required, being very observant, but also being able to pull out outside clues, things that you had learned. You had learned because you had learned that teachers were not allowed to teach with their left hand.
Yeah,
you had learned
that's
that.
complex thought. That is as complex gets. They asked children to do this? I wouldn't expect a high schooler to pick up on that.
I was asked this question 4th grade. How I remember this, I don't know. There's a lot of just
probably because you're like, huh? Your brain was probably bewildered by it. It's probably like, what?
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, that was a question. I don't.
Personally,
it was like a test question.
Personally,
it was like a quiz or whatever we had.
Personally, I wouldn't expect high schoolers to pick up on that.
Yeah. No, it's
I think most of the population can't. I think most of the population in the U.S. wouldn't be able to pick up on that.
Yeah.
Straight up, I have that little hope in humanity that I think most people could not pick up on that. Hell, I probably wouldn't even pick up on that. I probably wouldn't, because I probably wouldn't be fucking paying attention to the photo. It's a photo. It's not important to the story.
But it said, look at this photo. Why could this woman not teach?
Oh.
And I think I put because she was old too. She was just old, just retired. I don't know. I was like, I don't see what's wrong with her. And then the teacher, after everyone had turned in the assignment, she pointed out. So a lot of you got. I don't know if anyone got it right. I'll just say a lot of you got this question wrong. Look at this question very closely. Look at what hand is she writing with. I was like, oh. She's writing with her left hand.
That's mean.
Yeah.
That's mean. That's a
4th grade.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. But again, you were coaxed.
Yeah. So your answer was free complex thought.
Yes. Obviously, they were teaching us how to do complex.
Well, I think it's fair to say that it comes in stages, right? Because I think that there's probably going to be, if you really thought about it, maybe one example, that came early in life, right? Like one example, it comes in stages, periods, where you'll have a short burst, and I don't care how complex it is, but you'll have a short burst, and however long you ponder on it, determines how close you are to the next stage, right? To have this up that'll ponder into your brain and be like, and then if you immediately get lost and just forget about it, then that means you still have a ways to go, right?
So I
But if you
think
start, but
maybe
I think it's
it's
the longer. I
self-aware.
think the longer that you choose to think and ponder, like I gotta figure this out. Like I can't with this. Like I gotta figure this out, right? The longer you choose to think about something, the closer and closer you are to that stage of your prefrontal cortex working. Because
So
eventually you
what
just get
if?
to the point. It's like a muscle, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
muscle.
yeah. No,
Like
no. I
when
got it. I got it. I don't need more explaining. I I think it's maybe self-aware complex thinking. So obviously the birthday thing, I had no idea it was complex thinking. I didn't know what complex thinking was. But now when I think back to how when it happens, because like obviously people have those thoughts and people's minds begin to freely
wander.
wander in sixth grade, or
Well, yeah,
some
it's
people are
think about
later
it
than
this way,
that.
right? You have neurons there that are starting to fire,
Right.
or
But
or you have thought that need those, or you have a thought that occurs in your mind and requires those neurons to fire. But because that brain is not fully developed, you don't have enough neurons, the capacity to think about this for a long duration of time. And so there'll be some short bursts and short fires that occur in that region of the brain. But because it's not fully developed, the duration of time upon which you'd be able to think about it would be quite short. And it's like a muscle that needs to grow and it needs to be constantly stimulated. But of course, it takes later in life before it really starts to jumpstart and kickstart and become fully developed to where it can handle being more exercised all the time, right?
right,
Like
right. But
take like the Rock for example,
I,
right?
I
Like you can't go out and exercise like the Rock, right? You need to gradually ease up to those levels,
right.
and it takes until about the age of 12, I'd say, when you're ready to start exercising that part more regularly.
Right, right, right. But I don't care about that. What I'm talking about is that because everybody has, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Most people have the ability to do complex thought. But I was thinking
Yeah.
about like the sped kids, right? And I
Uh huh.
remember when they were trying to teach them algebra.
Yeah.
These people, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it. They're behind their grade. The average human should be able to do it by now, but they can't. But the thing is, though, they probably were already doing complex thoughts, and they didn't even know it. They just weren't utilizing it because their brain didn't know how to utilize it. It's possible the resources are there, just either A, there's not enough of it, or B, the rest of the brain is so underdeveloped that it couldn't utilize it even if it wanted to. It,
Yeah.
it could be either one, or the whole brain could just be completely just junk, and that not essentially it's junk. Nobody's junk, but it's just not developed right, and it just cannot do these processes. It cannot do these thoughts. It's just not efficient. They just can't do it. It's too much, but it just can't do it to the point where it just can't. It can do it, just not efficiently. So they can make inferences. They could probably do basic algebra. Well,
Is
yeah.
it well I guess
I shouldn't say they should be able to do basic. I
maybe,
still don't think they
these
can do
are
basic algebra.
anomalies, but is it possible that a kid could be put in sped because of language? They don't have the ability to express their thoughts in a meaningful way, but they are just gifted, right? They can just think
No,
about the like hand them
not
a
these
piece of paper
kids.
and they can write their stuff down, right?
I
Is
mean,
that it? Is that
it's possible there are kids like that. Not these kids.
not these kids?
No,
These kids, you could hand them a piece of paper and they still don't get it.
no, that's straight up what happened.
Like math or whatever, right?
I'm sitting there, and I'm in algebra.
Uh-huh.
Okay, as an eighth grader, so I'm
Yeah.
ahead of the curve. They're in math 8.
That's almost normal.
What?
Algebra as an eighth grader.
No, normal is pre-algebra.
Oh.
They're in math.
Maybe Lincoln was different. I don't know. I just remember a lot of kids, at least how I remember it, you took pre-algebra, 7th grade, algebra, 8th grade, geometry, ninth, algebra 2, and sophomore, pre-cal, junior year, and then senior year, you either took statistics or calculus. And that was like a lot of people.
It may have seemed
Statistics
like
or calculus.
maybe that's
Or
because
they took
maybe that's because you were
college
in that
algebra.
group and you weren't really aware of what was going on with the rest of the group, or maybe it's
That's
because
possible.
maybe it's because your school just they were just like sink or swim, so they throw them in the pre-algebra, whether they're actually ready for that or not.
Because then there was also college algebra too, and I
College,
think that was like
we
equivalent to
had
like
college algebra. I never understood that course.
I think it's equivalent to like Math 100, right?
I have
At
no
your
idea.
yeah, I
It
don't
was
know. I
SEC
said that's a
algebra.
class. I
No
said that's a
idea.
class. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I used to call that class AP Shapes and Colors.
Oh, it's absolutely AP shapes and colors because I know people that are taking that class and they show me their homework or like the teacher would show us the homework he assigned and I'm like, I did this in advanced algebra 3 years ago because I'm in calculus at this point. I'm like, I did this in advanced algebra
Yeah.
3 years ago. Like what? Anyways, so this kid's in math 8, right? So he's already like 2 math courses behind me. Possibly 3 if he has to take math 9. And I think he ended up having to take math 9. Yeah, we had a math 9.
Yeah. I don't. I
Oh,
mean,
and which
we might have had that. I don't know what they teach though.
they had math. I don't know what they taught math 9. We had math 9 and pre-geometry. I hated pre-geometry, and I'll talk about it in a minute.
Pre-geometry? But you took pre-geometry? What is pre-geometry?
I'll talk about it, but it's so they can graduate on time.
Uh-huh.
Because if you take math 9, you're behind.
Yeah.
So to graduate on time, if you end up in math 9, you're gonna have to at one point during your high school career take 2 math classes at once. Because to graduate, you need to take algebra, geometry, and pre-calculus.
You know, for some reason,
Oh, sorry, not pre-calculus, advanced algebra.
for some reason, I seem to remember vaguely a course where I don't know if this is like another school or maybe this was my school that did this, but there was a course that you could take where it was algebra and geometry taught in the span of 1 year. So it was like an ultra long algebra class. You know, it was structured to be taught in one semester, and then geometry would be taught in the second semester. So it almost be like taking 2 hours of math. So it's an extra long course, such that they can teach you all the material twice as fast. So you finish algebra in one semester, and then take geometry the next semester. I seem to remember it, but I think that might have been like Southwest, because I know Southwest could have easily gotten away with that, because at Southwest they had 90-minute schedules or something like that. Like the kids would take 4 classes a semester, but they'd be like 90 minutes long.
Oh, block scheduling.
Block schedule, is that what you call it? Yeah.
That's
And
yeah.
I think there was a course where it was like algebra one semester, geometry the next semester, but it was intended for kids that needed to catch up.
Yeah, well, these kids that take math 9, they're screwed because they have to take I think pre-algebra the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And pre-geometry so they can be ready. Anyways, I think they take algebra and pre-geometry at the same time. That way they're ready to take. I don't remember how it worked. I honest to God, I don't.
What do they teach in pre-geometry?
So we'll get back to this kid though. This kid, they threw an X into the equation to solve for it. Heck, I don't think there was even that. I think it was literally just they were talking about milk cartons, and I don't remember. Point is, this kid sat there and just stared at it, and they're like, come on, you do this. What do you have left? What is X? And he's like, why is there an X? And it's like, you have to solve for it. And he's like, I don't know. And it's just like, they're telling him how to do it, and he just can't. There's literal smoke coming out of his ears. And I'm like, oh my God.
I think you need to start basic, like X equals 1.
I don't
Like,
remember what it was, but this
start
it
as
was
simple as possible.
it was as simple as possible. It was like 1 minus X equals 2.
And then you take one more step, right? X plus 1 equals 2, right? I just told you X equals 1. Now plug in 1. 1 plus 1 equals... And so basically you're telling them what X equals and how to solve for it.
I don't think they could do it.
I think it'd be easier to... maybe for this kid, it'd be easier to work forwards where they can see the problem written out and then work backwards.
I think they probably didn't. He still couldn't solve it. Hell, they would give them the answers for tests, and they'd still write down the wrong answers. And that's not an exaggeration.
I seem to remember a story. I think it was John Baylor, the person who started the ACT prep class, or he had an ACT prep class, right?
He started the ACT.
Have you heard of him? What?
He invented it, started it.
Yeah, John Baylor. Anyways, there's a story that supposedly he had these 3 kids that were they wanted to play football, right? They were athletically gifted, but
they're stupid.
School-wise, yeah, they're not the brightest. And they went to his class, they paid the money, and they were still struggling. And the ACT was coming up, they're running out of time. And it's just like, shit, we need them to pass. I think they needed a 19 to get into the school they wanted to. And it's like, just write down C for every single answer. Don't do anything else. Just write down C. They did that. They got a 19. And I think it was from this test that the ACT caught on. So now you can't do this anymore. Maybe they got a 20 or something. But they got into school just putting C for one answer. And then, because John Baylor's the guy, like how all these people were extremely successful. They paid his money to take this course, and these people, they just could not do it. And they told him to just put C, and it freaking worked.
Well, anyways, so I remember, so they would have like matching part questions or whatever, and they would tell them match the square to the square, the triangle to the triangle, the circle to the circle, so on and so forth. Match the freaking shapes, right? So you had you had words on one side, definitions on the other. All they had to do was match the square to the square. They don't even have to read the damn crap. They just have to match a square to a square. These schmucks still couldn't do it. Either it's A, they just couldn't read, they just didn't read the instructions, or A, they didn't care. They thought, no, that doesn't seem right. I don't know how. Or, the best part, oh my God. This happened to me in science class. I was given one of their tests. Not as heavily...
By accident or on purpose? Or...
So I had an IEP.
What?
I had an IEP. Individualized educational experience. Whatever. I don't know what IEP. I don't know. I don't know what it stood for. Anyways, because I had AD. And so I qualified to have like modified tests or whatever. But I didn't need them. If I needed them, it was going to be in reading and algebra, not algebra, reading and English. They gave it to me in my favorite courses, science and social studies. The last 2 courses I need modified tests for.
Oh, you had it in math too?
No, I didn't get it in math.
Oh.
I was able to use a calculator.
Oh.
That was their modification. Thank God, because it would have taken me 8 years to do all those algebra tests. Because I didn't know my times tables. I couldn't add worth of crap. But I knew how to do it. You know. That's kind of me my entire... That's still kind of me. Like, I know how to do it. I just can't actually do the math. Anyways, so... So, in science class, they would give me this test, and I'm like, I don't need this, but thanks. And it's just super easy. But mine wasn't as heavily as modified. Mine only had one of the questions crossed out. One of the answers crossed out. Theirs had, so it's a multiple choice question. Four possible answers. They crossed out they crossed out half of them. They crossed out the two most difficult ones. Left with the correct answer and the most outrageous answer, and they still would get them wrong.
Wait, you had this test?
No. I had the one where they crossed out one of the four.
Oh, they crossed out one.
And I was like, and they'd always crossed out the one that was the one that I was always kind of unsure about. So it was super easy. It required no thought whatsoever because the other two were just completely...
Yeah, because usually they do that. I guess my teachers, you have two answers that are just not even close, or like they're kind of right, but the other two are just way better. And the other two that are way better, there's always one that's more right, as they call it. There's always the more right answer, and I hated those.
Well, in science and social,
right?
Science and
yes, I suppose this one, if you think about it like this, because then they'd be like, "You're overthinking it. It's this one." Or like, well, they won't tell you it's this one, but like, you're wrong. You're overthinking it.
Well, science and history, these teachers
usually always clue that you're wrong. It's the other one. Whenever they say that you're overthinking it, it's the other one.
Science and history was always fun. Because I would like laugh and giggle. Because I'd read the question and I'm like, okay, it's this. And I go to read the choices. And I'd laugh because one of the choices was just completely utter stupid.
Where to hide during a lightning storm? Under a tree? Well, not under a tree, a swimming pool, in a ditch, or in a basement.
No, not that. It was more obvious this. Who signed the Declaration of Independence? John Adams, Lady Gaga. Actually, it wasn't that ridiculous. It was...
But people that weren't even in that time period?
Yes. Actually, yes, it was those. So it would be like, who declared war, who did the U.S. drop nukes on? Japan? Italy?
Tuvalu.
Germany?
Tuvalu.
Or Botswana?
Tuvalu.
Oh, yeah. Some other country that's just like, what? Just like, what?
What?
Botswana?
Backyard.
Botswana? Why the hell is Botswana out of here? Something like that. Well, anyways.
Why the hell is Japan on here?
Why is Japan? No, those kids. So those kids' tests, they would have Germany and Italy crossed out, and they're left with Japan and Botswana, and they'd be like, "Why is
Japan?"
And they'd still pick Botswana.
Botswana.
Like what? No.
Then you picked the weird one. I did that. So have you ever done the strategy where whenever you pick the answer that you don't recognize? Because, like, for science test, right? If you're given a question, it's like,
yeah,
well, I know what this means, and what I know this means is not really what this means. So it's like associate definitions, right? It's like, I don't know what this word means, and if I knew the answer to this question, I think I'd recognize one of these answers. So then you pick the one that you don't know.
So
I've done that before.
So we did.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Because if you know the definition of all three other words, and you don't know the definition of the one, well, then it's like, well, maybe this is the definition of this one. And it's usually, well, it's either, yes, that is right, or no, it's like, this other definition can be written in this sort of way.
So did I ever tell? So you remember you took? Did you take map tests?
Map,
Yeah.
like geography.
No, 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 no. Did you take NISA tests?
Yeah,
Okay, around the same time you took NISA tests, you would take map tests.
I seem to remember something like that. Yeah, why?
Okay, so well, in map tests, there was you take a science one every few years,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's how I did the science tests. Because you have to remember, so the last time I took the science map test, because I was supposed to take it my senior year, but obviously they swapped it. They swapped map and NISA tests got swapped for the ACT.
Hmm.
And so the last time was in ninth grade, and you have to remember in fifth grade, which is the last time we took the science portion, I was in the eighth grade. I was ready for eighth grade science.
When you took it in fifth grade.
Yes,
Hmm.
that's when they told my parents like he's ready for eighth grade science.
Hmm.
I
Did you get
wished
into
I'd
eighth
been
grade
able to like
science?
skip ahead to like eighth grade science. That'd been so freaking
Oh,
cool,
they didn't let you.
huh?
They didn't let you.
Well, no, I had to go to sixth grade still, which was not at the high school, so it wouldn't work.
Hmm.
Like, if we had a combined middle school, like we do now, it's possible.
Wait, you have seventh at the time you were in school. Wasn't 7th through 12 combined?
Right. But I was in fifth grade. Sixth grade was still at the elementary school.
Wait, you're saying today it's combined?
Yeah, they moved sixth grade up to the high school.
Oh, so now it's K through 5?
Yeah.
Was the elementary school getting too big or something?
Possibly. But I don't think that was the reason. I think they just had money and they're like, let's do it. Might as well. I think it was also just a better way to like, because I mean, back in the day, it caused issues. I don't know if it causes issues anymore, but they had to combine two small towns that hate each other because they were always rivals in sports. And now they're combining these kids who have hated each other the past 2 years, the past several years in sports, at uh at a
Did they
school.
actually hate each other though?
Yes.
Like they were bullies and they didn't get along at all?
Yep.
Hmm.
My parents always told me. I was always told by parents that they would call all of the people from Cisco cupcakes, and then all the people from were called kolaches.
I don't know. I want to be a cola.
Anyways, and they just hate each other. They're like, damn Swedes, damn Czechs. They hate each other. Well, so part of the solution is to combine when they come together. Instead of combining them at one of those elementary schools, combine them at the neutral high school. Maybe it'll help build team sports better because sports kind of suck. So it's like maybe we can make high school sports better if they're working together at the same place already or whatever. I don't know what the actual reasoning is now. It is possible that the elementary school was getting too big, it was getting too small and cramped. I'm not sure. Because if that's the case, then the Ceresco Elementary School is overflowing. Because that's the smaller school, which is why they'd always send them the sixth grade. That's why sixth grade was always at the Valparaiso Elementary School. Because the Valparaiso Elementary School is much bigger. So if that's the case, where the Valparaiso School is getting too cramped, the Ceresco School is blowing up at the seams. So, anyways, so that was me. So I'm taking the science test, and it's just stuff I've never seen before, because I've only been taught to fifth grade knowledge, but because of just how much I like science and how well I understand the subject, I have the practical. I can keep up with an 8th grader, but anything beyond that, I have no idea. I've never seen it because they've never taught me any of it. Like ions, for example, in 9th grade. We weren't going to learn ions till next year, but I knew they were going to be on the test, so I Googled them, and so I figured out what an ion was, and I knew it for the test, which allowed me to beat the next person by like 10 or 11 points.
But how did you know the word ion?
Because I remembered it.
From the previous test?
Mm-hmm. Because it popped up a lot, because you have to remember, I am ready for the next step. And so it's just throwing all the stuff that's the next step to see what sticks. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, it's already testing me on other stuff. It's like, okay, he knows all this other stuff that everyone else already knows. What can we throw at him? And ions was the next step. And I remembered. And so I looked it up right before the test. Crammed in, like, what is an ion? Learned the very basics of it. It allowed me to beat the next person by 10 or 11 points. It was crazy. It was so stupid. Oh man. Because I remember I had gotten second place by like 1 point that spring that fall, and my team.
There was another person that was brighter than you.
Right. By 1 point though. We're talking margin of error.
You know? Well, I know, but like, I guess what I'm saying though, right? You like science a lot. Who's this other person that was able to keep up with you?
She wanted to be an aerospace engineer.
And so she just knew a lot at a young age.
Both her mother and father were lawyers.
So, not science.
Yeah, but they're smart. They're good at logic. Science is logic. She was smart. Very smart.
It's also a lot of vocabulary, though.
Huh?
It's also a lot of vocabulary.
Yes, I don't know how she knew all this stuff. It's possible her...
Because let's be honest, right? I mean, yes, there is logic, but I mean, there's also a lot of vocabulary.
Right, but it's also...
If you know all the basic vocabulary, you're ready to
this again. Yes, but also, again, this is 9th grade at this point. This isn't 5th grade anymore. It's possible in 5th grade I was first. It's very possible. I don't know.
So what's she doing now?
Oh, she did natural resources.
Wait, what? Geology or natural resources?
Yep. She went from wanting to be an aerospace engineer, and she was majoring in aerospace engineering at UNL, to natural resources. Really?
She was actually... Wait, we have an aerospace engineer program?
I think so.
I don't think so. What?
I would assume so, because we literally have a General Dynamics plant here in Lincoln.
Yeah, but that doesn't... No, but... I was in engineering freshman year, and I don't remember that being a thing.
I mean, maybe it was just regular engineering, but with the focus... I don't know. It was aerospace.
What? No, because I would have done that.
Maybe it wasn't an option when you were doing it.
When was she a student?
She's my age. Yeah, look at that. Aerospace studies.
That's studies. That's not in engineering.
College of Engineering, University of Nebraska. Majors. Oh my gosh. Why did it do this? Civil engineering, construction.
It's not one of them. I would have remembered that one. Because I would have done it. Agriculture, architecture, biological systems, chemical, civil, computer science, construction management, electrical, environmental, mechanical, software. That's it.
Maybe it's in mechanical?
Maybe. I would have remembered aerospace. Because that would have been something that I would have done.
Aerodynamics researcher. What do you tell about that? I don't know, but she wanted to be.
I actually considered architectural engineering.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's possible she was just in the mechanical engineering, and she was going to use that to get into aerospace. I don't know, but she wanted to be an aerospace engineer.
Hmm.
I don't know if she was major. I don't know. Point is, well, she didn't make it very far. I think she made it like a year, and then quit,
Mhm.
and then went to natural resources. Not natural resource engineering, natural resources.
Like what? Like that's a major?
Yeah, it's a major.
What?
It's
What is
easy
that?
as sin.
Natural resources major.
Like it's probably like natural resources management or something.
Like what do you do? Oh, it is School of Natural Resources. What?
Yep,
What is
Kasner,
that?
College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. It's a whole thing. It's the
What?
easiest stuff in the world. It is super easy.
What do they? What did they do?
I don't know. Work for the parks department, I guess? I don't know. There's no math involved, I'll tell you that much. Or if there is math involved, it's very basic math. And that's when I realized I had to take the most complex math in my entire high school class.
Was that
No. Economics
Calc
requires
One?
calculus. Not a single other schmuck needed calculus.
Mm-hmm.
Like UNL has their basics calculus requirement, but like
Mm-hmm.
none of their classes for their majors you needed to actually know how to do calculus. Like you had
Yeah,
to
I
take
think my brother is in the class like these majors like that because I think he was saying that. I can't remember. I think he was in Calc One and he passed Calc One, and I think his original major required him to go further, like Calc 2 or 3 or
that's because
something.
it
But
was a
he,
science.
well, yeah, but I don't remember. And he was like, "No, I'm done." And I think that was part of the reason why he changed his major because he didn't want to do any other thing.
I don't understand that either, right? That I think there's like like if you do statistical psychology or something where you're looking at purely numbers, like maybe like you need more calculus, but there's no the university making you take calc 2 is completely unnecessary.
For that subject.
Yes, completely
Yes.
there are like I googled it because I was like what career paths what people actually need calculus.
Oh, physics.
Yep.
You need integrals to do quantum mechanics.
Yep. So it was
You need integrals. You cannot
physics.
do integrals. What?
So yep, you're right. It's physics, economics, and like
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
requiring
that's it.
stats.
Because I had a friend who was a business major, and I think he said he encountered integrals in one of his classes.
He could have
I
taken
mean, it was a real basic integral.
well it's I was getting to this. It's very possible that it's very possible he was for an econ class
Yeah, yeah. I don't know
because
what
I
he was doing.
googled
He
it.
said it was a real basic integral, but he said he had to do integrals in his class.
It's the Gini coefficient. It's the easiest thing in the world. You can't actually do the calculus because the calculus is impossible because you can't possibly know the function of the curve. So it's not even an actual integral. So it's great. It's completely pointless. Oh man, there's that. But actually, if we're talking derivatives, no, that stuff's everywhere. But no, I looked it up, and it was if you're gonna be a mathematician, a physicist, anything like statistics related. So if like it could weasel its way into like a lot of things, but like you're more than likely a data scientist or you're doing something with a lot of data and stuff. You're not really like you're not like. It's like they were talking about it could be used in the medical field, but like you're looking at data. You're not really you know, you're not actually like working with patients and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and the last one was economics.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how did I end up here? How did I end up in the one major that requires that like economics is needed through and through? Like, what? When did this happen? And so I ended up, out of literally everybody in my entire class, I was the only one that the calculus was actually useful.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I hadn't taken calculus, I wasn't really able to do the math anyways, because I had forgotten it at that point. But it was necessary for that class.
Yeah.
And is an integral part of modern economics.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the frick? How did this happen? She was the only person, because she was doing aerospace engineering.
Yeah.
But then she dropped that because she hated the math.
Oh, is that why?
I probably, or it was just too much for her.
Mm.
Because again, the only like I was good at science not because I studied, but because I just liked it, and it was a personal interest of mine, and I'm good with logic, which is science is very logic orientated. So I was naturally good at it. She was only good at it because her parents were like, you need to be good at, you need to do well in school. You need to do this, you need to be the best, the best, the best. And she was our valedictorian.
Yeah.
I was like 13th. But I also didn't care. Like I said, I probably could have been the top 5 if I'd actually.
But she was a good studier, like note taker, I imagine. Then.
Oh, absolutely. She had exquisite notes.
She seems like, because we had a couple of people like that at my school where they face value, they seem like this normal person, but they take the most insane notes, and they are the most
she wasn't
driven.
normal.
What?
She wasn't normal.
Well, no, they look normal. They come across as a normal person, but until you're in a classroom with them, and you pay attention to that, it's like all they can focus on is like, I have to meeting this deadline. I have to do this. I have to do that. Can't do this. I have to do this. Right? And it's like this, that, and the other. And in high school, that works. You can. It's this concrete sort of learning where everything is to the point, exact. But then once you get into college, there's too much freedom for those people to be successful like that.
Reading, lol.
There's too much freedom.
Oh, freedom. I thought you said reading. Freedom. Oh, yeah.
Freedom.
Absolutely.
Freedom. There's too much freedom. They need that structure. They are successful with that structure. And when you take that away, they immediately realize, what's the point? Reality hits them. And it's like, this isn't what I want to do with my life.
So, I needed structure to do well on tests.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not need structure to do the assignments and to do well on projects.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I excelled in college. Was on projects. Like, everyone else did crappy on projects. I did well.
Mm-hmm.
I liked projects. I always was like, oh man, damn projects. But then I was like, actually, looking back, I'm like, projects were pretty slick.
Yeah.
They were super easy. They took like no thought. Like, you present the rough draft, and the teacher would like tear it apart, and you're like, you look at them in the eye, and you're like, what do you want? That's what happened on one of my rough drafts. I looked at the teacher, I'm like, what do you want from us? Like, be specific, because we thought we had what you wanted, but now I want you to be, but apparently that was not it. What do you want? And she's like, I want this. And I'm like, okay. And we tailor made our project to it. And other than there was one part she didn't like, but that was because A, she was just anal about that kind of thing, and then B, that wasn't my part of the assignment, so.
You blamed it on someone else.
Well, I didn't do it.
Yeah,
I looked at it and I told. Here's the funniest part was I looked at it and I told them, like, this is not going to go well. You need to fix it. And they're just like, I'm like, whatever. I don't care. My part's fine. You know, she had issues with our entire project, but I didn't like her project. Her project was annoying. But her class was annoying.
What class is this?
I don't even freaking remember. It was
What?
some Aggie.
You don't remember what teacher taught this?
She was Greek.
Well, no, I guess I remember. I'm sorry. You remember the teacher, but you don't remember what class she was teaching?
Nope.
I
think it was a really long, complicated name. I think it was like agricultural economics, marketing in the real world or something. I have no idea. It was a marketing class. It was a marketing class, but not a marketing class. It sucked. I think. I can't remember. Like it was a really long title. I do remember it now, but it was a really long title. So, well, that class sucked, but well, up until there was one test that I did ace. So I was like, whoa. I did really well on because I crammed right before. Because there was an equation I needed to know, and I crammed right before it, and I did really well. Which was like, cool. Oh, God. Well, I don't know how we went on these tangents. I don't know where we ended up. I don't know how we got here. But we're about over time here. So is there anything else you need to say? Otherwise, we'll end the podcast here. Our first weekly podcast since, like, 2018. I'll take that as a no. Well, anyways.
I'm good.
What?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank you all for watching. The 0 people watching, actually. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you actually watch this. And the new podcasts every Friday, noon Central Time. And good night.